has two thumbs and wants to talk about books some more, this bitch. The first book I want to talk about is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. I really enjoyed this book. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic future after everyone has died of a really bad flu, think The Stand, and it follows a group of people who live in the traveling symphony that go from apocalypse town to apocalypse town performing Shakespeare plays. That is quite literally the way I would spend the apocalypse if I could, so I definitely enjoyed it. There's also an overarching theme of the life and death of a certain actor who died right before the apocalypse started and all the lives that he touched. So it's really weird. It's like a biography of this one guy and the apocalypse takes place. So it's just weirdly complicated, but I found myself flying right through this book. I thought it was very interesting. Just give it a read because I just thought it was written so well. Go ahead. Like, I can't, just 5 stars. Go do it. I read volume 1 of The Autumn Lands by Kurt Busey, and that was a pretty fun book. It takes place in like an alternate world where all the people are magic wielding animals. Like, they're humanoid animals. And it's so adorable! I mean, I know they're trying to like be at war with each other and there's drama going on and stuff, but they're so cute, the little faces. Oh. No, it actually was a really interesting story. The magic was cool and it was full of drama and scandal. So yeah, pick it up, it's pretty cool. I don't know if there is a volume 2 or when it's coming out, but volume 1 was cool, so there you go. I also read The Baba Yaga's Assistant by Malika Kolba, I believe is how you say that. Sorry if it's not. You know that I'm bad at this. This is kind of a kid's book, I think that it's filed under, but I picked it up because I know the artist is Emily Carroll, and Emily Carroll illustrated another book I really love called Through the Woods. And if you know Through the Woods, you know that it is beautiful and artistic and twisted. So I'm sitting there going, okay, even if she didn't write it and this Malika person did, I know that Emily Carroll would probably want to be on a project that was also twisted and pretty and cool, and her art was going to spice it up. And I was not disappointed. It is very good, very short. It's just about a young woman who answers a ad in a newspaper to become an assistant for the local Baba Yaga, and I really enjoyed it. I loved the ties to folklore, and as someone who also had like a grandmother who told her stories about like witches and fairies and gave her specific instructions for how to not get like taken away, I related a lot to this book. I'm not Russian, but yeah, I feel you, girl. I get you. We're real here. I got you. And I finally read Rat Queen's Volume 3, Demons. And yes, I was not disappointed. I've really just been digging Rat Queens. It's so cool. Art is amazing. The characters are just flushed out and complicated, and the plot is really, really cool. I end every volume going, no, why did you end? I need to know what happens. When's the next one coming up? So yeah, I definitely recommend Rat Queens for those of you who would like a new comic book addiction. As you can see, there is a theme in the type of comic books I like. Give me any type of like fantasy, preferably with amazing badass bitches in it. I'll probably like it. Another book I'm super excited I read was You're Not Weird on the Internet, Almost, by Miss Felicia Day. I have loved Felicia Day for several years. I was and am a huge fan of the Guild, and I just think that everything that she does for the nerd and geek community is amazing. Her and Will Wheaton, with their work with Geek and Sundry, have done so much to try to like be, hey, why can't we have a nice, safe nerd space to come together and like the things we like? And I appreciate geeks like that because we shouldn't be in competition to out-geek each other. And we shouldn't be like, this is our club and you can't come in. Like, the whole point of coming together on like the internet is to be like, hey, like, nerd it up. Yeah, Felicia Day has done a lot of good work, and this book is a memoir, even though she argues herself in the book, I'm not old enough to have a memoir. It talks about how she got started, talks about her video game addiction, and it talks about a lot of the stuff that she went through, and a lot of the times when she hits roadblocks. And to me, that is so good to hear, because you know what, as much as I love to hear stories about how people were like got really lucky or were struck with success or were discovered or plucked out of obscurity, it's also really good to hear the stories about how people worked their ass off and then it eventually paid off. Because let me tell you something, sometimes when you're in these creative fields, it is so discouraging to see all these like successful people making it look so easy. And yes, I have scowled at my computer at YouTubers who have like 1.5 million subscribers and just get all the jealous, all of it. But hearing about how people struggled and overcame does kind of make me feel like, you know what, that's my part of the story. That's my part of the book where I'm at right now. And then eventually, this will just be fodder for my memoir. And then I can like, you know, eventually there'll be the chapter of when I worked my shit out and woohoo. Well, at least I hope so. But anyway, I love this book. Felicia Day is hilarious. You should pick it up. It's awesome. Nerds forever. I love you, Felicia Day, if you're watching this. And now I'm really embarrassed that I said that, but I don't care. I do. Another recent sci-fi comic book that you're sure to love that I read recently is Rocket Girl Volume 1 by Brandon Montclair. This book is about a time traveler who's part of the teen police force in an alternate 2013 who goes back to 1986 in order to stop this company from creating some kind of time device, quantum mechanics-y thingy, that will apparently mess up everything. And there's just this whole time travel loopy logic thing going on here. It's awesome. Who does not love to see sci-fi and 80s fashion just have a good marriage together? That's just the best. We've all agreed on that. That's a consensus we can all agree to. I just thought it was funny. It was like I was always laughing. And I just enjoyed it. Go ahead and pick it up if you can find it. Okay, now if you only read one book from this whole video, if you can't pick up or have already read You're Never Weird on the Internet, read Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I really related to this book. It is all about living creatively without fear. It's all about being your like creative self and acknowledging your creativity and putting stuff out there, and I really enjoyed it. And I just felt like maybe it's just me, maybe like at the time I'm at in my life, I just felt like I needed to hear what was in this book, which, you know, happens. It happens. You can find books at the right time. But I just really appreciated the way that Elizabeth Gilbert worded a lot of her thoughts about creativity. And one thing that I won't go on forever because we talked about this before, 20-minute videos. I won't gush too much because I don't want this video to get too long, but one thing that she touches up on that I really appreciated was having a type of relationship with your creativity. She kind of describes it as a spiritual relationship, which if you're into or not, that's fine. But I just realized that yes, you do need to have some type of relationship with your art. It can't be one-sided. The way that she phrased it that I really liked was, okay, do you love your art? Now, do you think that your art loves you in return? And if you don't think that your art loves you in return, then why are you putting all this effort into a relationship that's one-sided and that doesn't love you back? That way. It just blew my mind a little and I really liked it. And there's lots of other little nuggets of advice. And this is another book where it talks about some of the times that she had to struggle with getting stuff published. And I like hearing about those kind of things because then I feel less bad about times when things don't go my way, and every now and then it's just cathartic. That's all I have for right now. I hope to try to make these like short, sweet, and to the point. It's just sometimes I will flip through a bunch of like really short comic books really quickly and I don't realize that they've piled up and I'm like, oh no, I better film a book reviews video before it's way too long again. But I'm gonna keep on it. I'm doing it, kids. Here we go. Like this video if you liked it, subscribe if that's your thing, and feel free to leave me book recommendations in the comments. Who doesn't love book recommendations? Clearly you do too, because that's the whole point of these videos, I guess. Huh. If I told you the friend zone does not exist, because it doesn't exist.